That's a whole different deal. Absolutely. Hey, welcome. And thanks for joining us. This is a segment that I've really been excited to do. We're here today at Canvas Designers in West Palm Beach. We're here with Mike Erickson, owner of Canvas Designers and innovator extraordinaire. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you. Yes, Canvas Designers is kind of a full-fledged, we do a lot of different things. Traditionally, it was canvas. That's where we started, Paul. Since then, though, we've gotten into a lot of the interior stuff. Now we build furniture. We make mattresses. We do, this dinette is built from scratch. A lot of that interior and soft goods and canvas, and then our Easy 2CY program kind of rounds out everything that would be textiles and soft goods inside and out of a boat.
And that's one of the reasons I was so excited to come here, because you guys do so many different things. And on the lips of the brokerage community every day is this product, that product, or the other product. And it's really important that the brokerage community understands those products that they're selling. Like you said, we started with canvas. We started with enclosures, bimini tops, and things of that nature. Segued into interiors. We can do any kind of an interior refit, custom work that you want to have done. You guys also touch on a lot of other things. You do fender hooks for mostly in the big yachting community, those elegant leather-bound, sheepskin-covered hooks that protect the rails that you can hang the fenders on, but you also do some amazing work with metal, polished stainless steel, anchor chutes, fair leads, and things of that nature. We're going to look at those things, but what I really want to do is focus our attention with our short time on our canvas work and our interior soft goods products. How about if we take a walk through the shop and see how we do this stuff?
Sounds real good.
All right, let's go. When a customer comes in, this is the area, of course, where they start, and they get to see a smattering of some of the things that you offer.
Yes, our showroom has a lot of samples of carpet, headliners, hull liners, obviously thousands and thousands of books for textiles. We kind of do what an interior designer does, but we're much more interactive.
Right.
And we don't offer 3 ensembles. We sit down and together with the client, we pick out and choose what they're doing and kind of help steer the client towards the do's and don'ts in closed-in areas on boats.
Well, and you've done so many boats over the years, and you've learned so many lessons about what holds up and what doesn't, that it's invaluable, the amount of information that you can purvey to a person just from the start. By saying, oh, you've got an XYZ boat, let me tell you what we've learned works really well with those.
Absolutely does.
Awesome. So we start in here.
Yes, this is our canvas and enclosure area.
Okay.
Traditional sort of canvas, what everybody thinks and hears and sees.
Bimini tops,
enclosures. Bimini tops, enclosures, covers, chair covers, helm covers.
Sunshades.
Sunshades.
Okay.
Anything that's out of a traditional exterior fabric like Stamoid or Sombrella or Weathermax are the main 3 we use.
So I'm going to interrupt you right there, Mike, and I'm glad that you mentioned Stamoid and Sombrella and the different products. Give me a quick overview. What's the difference between Stamoid and Sombrella? Is it the way the product is made? Is it the application? Is it a little bit of all of the above?
It's kind of easy choices, Paul. In reality, Stamoid, the first question is, what color do you want?
Okay.
Stamoid, if we're going into light, creams, whites, matching the hull, we're going to use this product.
Okay.
Okay. This is Stamoid Light.
Okay.
It's got it's a vinyl coated polyester.
Okay.
So the cleanability is key.
Okay.
White fabrics don't clean well and show everything.
Right.
So if we're going into a white and light colors and looking for waterproof, we're going to go to Stamoid.
Now that's white on both sides, so it's going to be harsh on your eyes. I've seen a lot of products over the years where you have white on the exterior for the look, but you have a soft green or a soft blue on the bottom. Is that the Stamoid product?
No, that's the traditional Weblon.
Ah, so that's Weblon.
And that's a laminate, so for a cover, it's really not being used all that much anymore.
But if we still had a bimini top application,
like a bimini top or a laced on top or a banded on top, then
Okay.
the two-tone colors can definitely come into play.
Okay.
The second product we use a lot of, again, decides color. Okay? If you want colors, we're going to go to Sunbrella.
Because Sunbrella has a
We're going
wide
to go
variety
to
of
Sunbrella
choices.
because it's a solution dyed acrylic. I can soak this in pure bleach and it will keep its color.
Okay.
So very color fast, breathable, lightweight, but one of the negatives to it, it's not quite as chafe resistant as some of the other products.
Okay.
So if you've got ropes or a big rub going on all the time, you either have to reinforce it heavily, which raises the cost to a product,
Right.
or we start to look at other solutions. Another solution, and the third fabric I've talked about, is WeatherMax.
Okay.
WeatherMax comes in a few versions. In fact, let's see. This is Stamoid.
And the stamoid has a stiffness
We
to
have
it.
WeatherMax. We got WeatherMax over here where Jen's sewing right now. Let's
Okay.
take a look at that real quick.
All right.
WeatherMax is a polyester, a solution dyed polyester. So
Okay.
you're going to get almost as good color fastness.
Back
as
up a
Sunbrella.
second. You said Sunbrella was a solution dyed acrylic.
Yes.
WeatherMax is a solution dyed polyester.
Yes.
The difference between them being the actual chemical makeup of the product.
The
yes?
actual fiber, yes. The
Okay.
chemical that makes up that's spun into a fiber,
Okay.
that's woven into a cloth.
Okay.
So with WeatherMax, what you get is you get higher strengths initially, and then they start to come down the UV curve over time.
Okay.
Sunbrella starts lower, it's not as strong,
Right.
but it maintains a little longer. So they intersect the paths on how well they perform. What's key about WeatherMax for us is because it's a polyester, it's stronger in a smaller fiber. So what
Okay.
we get is we get a lightweight cloth
It's more
that
pliable.
has high strength. The other aspect that's different is in acrylic, I talked about the chafe resistance.
Mhm.
It's a little softer fiber, so it tends to rub and
Fray.
can fray. With WeatherMax, the polyester is far more durable.
Okay.
So the chafe resistance is much better on a polyester. So one of the key things about this product is lightweight, high strength. You felt the bulk
It has a
of this.
completely different feel than the other product.
It does. It still has breathability, but where we're using it is these giant covers.
Okay.
Okay. These new sport fish in center consoles, heck, they're making 50 footers and 60 footers now.
That's right, yeah.
They want full covers on a lift.
Of course they do.
This is the product we go to.
Because it's manageable, it's durable, and it's chafe resistant.
Absolutely.
Sunbrella, while it's the colors that we were so used to having for a long time, if you're going to use it in a cover application, you have to put a piece of chafing material inside.
Which adds to cost and labor.
And weight.
And weight. Another aspect is that WeatherMax comes in 3 versions. It
Okay.
comes in a heavier version,
Okay.
higher strength,
Yep.
comes in a lightweight version, big bulky covers, manageable,
Right.
and it also comes in a product they call SG, which is like a felt on the backside, and we can take a look at it when we get back to the fabric
good.
cutting room.
Sure.
The felt on it, so chair covers, table covers, varnished areas,
Sure, it doesn't
bars,
damage them.
we can do it without having to do a second lining
Okay.
like we do with Stamoid. We can actually do it with one layer, finished, lightweight, very smooth underneath to protect the varnish and the clear coats that exist on
The
today's
finish
boat.
before them.
So WeatherMax has a great application there too.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's walk back towards that area. I mean, you've got a pretty massive shop here. It takes big tables to be able to handle big covers and canvas applications.
Yeah, the full facility is 35,000 square feet, and we employ 48 people.
That's a lot of people to get the job done, but there's a lot of demand right now. And
There is. The
you guys
market's on
continue to
fire.
have a big demand, though. You have for many, many years. Now, this product here is a stiffer product than what we saw over there.
This is the Stamoid.
This is a stamoid.
You're going to
okay.
have a finished coat on one side.
Okay.
This is the raw side, which is a polyester fabric. This is a Sunfly, are you doing? So all of our stuff is cut with computers. So what we're doing right here is a lightweight shade that's going on the back of a boat. It's going on a boat called Restless, which is a Viking sport fish. Okay, and we'll
Take
use
the customer's name out of there.
Yeah, we'll use our sunfly poles that we also make in house, and they'll tension this out of a rod holder through a track on a sport fish.
So that'll be a cover for the cockpit.
That'll be a cover for over the cockpit, up overhead.
Right.
For when you're rigging.
It's suspended
or you
from
want
above.
Space.
Okay. All right.
So this area here is our EZ2CY area. We own the brand, the national brand EZ2CY.
Okay.
What it is it's a semi-rigid product, as you can see, right?
It's hard.
And this is probably a 7 or 8 year old enclosure right here that we're bringing in, and we're actually going to buff this whole enclosure and make it look like new.
So you can renovate it.
Well, that's one of the biggest differences with hard enclosures.
Okay.
Is that EZ2CY is built using a trade secret,
proprietary, right?
Proprietary aspect. But what we're doing is gluing all of these fabric borders onto a piece of acrylic.
Okay.
We use exclusively acrylic for all of our branding of EZ2CY product. Now, there's some other products on the market.
And that's what I was going to ask you. So, you know, obviously I've been around this for a little while. Your beard's getting a little gray too.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So we started with products. Everybody knew what isinglass was. And isinglass was the old standard. And it was soft, and it would scratch, and it would get yellow.
You could roll it up.
You could roll it up, right. And then as life moved along and product enhancements became part of our industry, we started to hear about things like macrolon, acrylics, polyesters. And I think that a lot of the community doesn't quite understand what is the difference between one and another. Now, I know your product is the EZ2CY product, but let's just from a 30,000 foot view, talk about what are those different products and what's the upside and the downside, where some of them maybe they do have an application, where some is the best there is.
Yep. So, you know, let's go back to the isinglass days.
Right.
Back in the days, you had roll vinyls. Basically, it's a PVC, a polyvinyl chloride, in a clear product without any pigment.
And it's pliable.
It's pliable.
All right.
So you have what's called roll vinyl, extruded clear vinyl coming out that's pressed between rollers, and it's rolled up on a roll. This is the least expensive product.
Right.
It's the type of product you're going to see up north a lot.
Okay.
And
guys that use the
actually
boats 3
lakes
months
and
a
rivers
year.
a lot too. And the reason being, it's thinner. It comes in 20 mil, 30 mil, 40 mil.
All right.
20 and 30 mil are more popular up north on the rivers and lakes because it's not so thick. It doesn't get stiff
when
with
it gets
cold weather. So the springs and the falls, the stuff is still usable.
Sure.
Okay? Evolving from that, you came out with what was branded as isinglass.
Okay.
Isinglass is basically taking that roll vinyl, maybe 2 layers of 20 mil.
Okay.
And then they put it in this high pressure, high heat situation.
Okay.
You have a couple companies doing it, O'Sullivan, and Weblon, using the brand name Strataglass. Those are your 2 large manufacturers. Their products are equivalent, and they both do the same process. They also have some coatings they can put on it for scratch resistance. Obviously,
but this is still a
the
rolled
higher
vinyl.
Price, this is all in vinyl still.
Okay.
It allows you to roll it.
Okay.
I mean, they've even gotten to the point now where isinglass is available in 80 mil. So fixed panels are starting to look nice. We just finished a Valhalla that we had 80 mil little triangle panels on it right next to the wrapped glass panel. It looks just like
they
the
look
glass.
good side by side.
And yet it had the flexibility to make the bends we wanted to make. So then back in, I don't know, the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, EZ2CY was invented in Maryland. I was the largest dealer over time, and we bought the branding over time. But EZ2CY basically took standard acrylic, glued the borders on it, and you got finishes like this enclosure here.
Okay.
over time, it's improved. Chemistry improves, products
Sure.
improves, just like boating has improved.
Technology's improved, sure.
We've moved to an impact modified acrylic. So the old days of broken panels are kind of not there as much anymore.
Okay.
Because we added impact modifiers, which made it far more break resistant.
Okay.
So pretty much up until the late 90s, that was pretty much it. You had isinglass and you had Easy 2CY, patented, branded. There was a network of dealers.
Okay.
Since then, canvas shops have wanted to get into things, so there's been other companies that have evolved. Next was sewn-in polycarbonates.
Okay.
Polycarbonate is a different chemistry than acrylic.
So just like we were talking about in our fabric selections earlier, where we had polyesters and then we had acrylics, you also have the same thing in clear applications, where you have a clear polyester or a clear acrylic, both being stiff panels, but with a completely different chemistry.
Yes, and you also have different thicknesses.
Okay.
A sewable polycarbonate is typically somewhere in that 080 range of thickness. Easy 2CY starts out in the 080 but goes up to 1/8 thickness.
Okay.
So there's some thickness capabilities.
But those don't get sewn, those get bonded.
Though Easy 2CY gets 100% bonded.
Okay.
Polycarbonates typically get stitched. There are a few that get bonded. The real difference chemistry-wise is that acrylic is inherently UV resistant as a product to start with.
Okay.
They don't have to add UV inhibitors to
In
it.
or coated. Right.
So polycarbonate is much softer, so scratches easier. So they had to add a chemistry to it. They put a hard coating on it. So they've added a hard coating so that it doesn't just scratch with a, while you're cleaning the boat.
Right.
The second thing is it's not inherently UV resistant, so that coating also has some UV inhibitors in it that helps protect the polycarbonate for a while.
Okay.
The big difference is I've got 10 to 15-year-old Easy 2CY enclosures out there that can be buffed and look like brand new again on the clear, whereas with polycarbonate it starts to craze
And it
5
crazes
to 7
all the way
years.
through.
So it's just not the same product. While it works, and there's all kinds of different price points to everything.
Sure.
There's a lot of choices, and people should be educated on what those choices are.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. And yes, a lot of it always boils down to the price that you're willing to pay. And typically, if you want the best, you got to pay the most. But there are reasons that they are the best.
Exactly.
And it's not just because it's in vogue or it's fashionable. It's because it lasts longer. It's inherently the same product through and through, as opposed to a product that has coatings on it.
And if I had to pick a number, Easy 2CY lasts twice as long as any Macrolon, any polycarbonate, in my opinion.
And that's something that you educated me on a little bit earlier. You hear the term Macrolon a lot. It's simply a brand name for a polycarbonate.
Exactly.
Okay.
Put out by Bayer Chemical.
Okay.
There's
so
a few different brands.
These are enclosures. We obviously can do tops. We do all the canvas work for the enclosures, and we do smart things like adding in vents with textiline covers, so you can get ventilation and airflow.
You can zip it open and get airflow under the hard top, so it'll take that covered wagon effect away.
That's been my lifesaver many a time, standing at the helm right there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Now, if you're really a leak freak, okay, then you don't want a vent.
Okay.
But again, it sort of depends.
That's only if you have an air-conditioned fly bridge.
Absolutely.
All right. So you said that the polycarbonates are a different kettle of fish altogether, and the Easy 2CY is the product that we use here, and we bond it.
Yes.
So how do we go about that? I see him taking the edge off of a piece of a piece of Easy 2CY.
Yes. Well, and here's a typical border structure.
Okay.
Okay, this is a used enclosure that we're remaking some glass. It had polycarbonate, and we're switching it over to acrylic.
So does it get melted in?
It creates
or does
a
it get
pocket.
glued in?
It gets glued in.
Okay. All right.
We're using a structural glue that's proprietary, obviously.
Right. Okay.
We have it made, actually.
Not a big old tube of Gorilla Glue.
No. No Gorilla Glue here and no super glue.
Okay.
There are quite a few companies out there trying to, obviously the acrylic is a nice product and Easy 2CY is, so they're, Our little saying is often imitated, never duplicated.
Right.
Our proprietary glues don't attack the chemistry, so we don't have the breakage issues that people using super glues are having.
Because it attacks the chemistry of the panel
the
itself
acrylic,
and makes it brittle, maybe at that edge.
Yes.
Okay.
So you'll have a pocket, and within that, we're going to bond what we're showing over here.
Okay.
Jimmy's trimming the protective coating off of it right now. Okay. As you can see, so he's running his little invented tool.
Right.
To cut off 7/8 inch of protective coating, so you'll see it here. Okay.
So that gives you the raw surface to work with.
That'll take this side off, right? And that's what he'll then bond to.
Okay.
And then that's, again, protecting the clear for a long time while we're in the actual production process, too.
So I'm not allowed to ask about any secrets, but do you prepare that surface before you bond to it? Do you have to rough it up or anything?
Our adhesive system doesn't require that.
It does it chemically.
Anybody else's does.
Okay. All right. But I didn't ask that question.
Yep.
Okay. So that's the secret to enclosures is the product, the material.
The clear materials you're using.
The clear, that's the
by
ticket.
far.
That's the ticket.
Obviously, then there's the look and finish. Another big thing that, I mean, it's not an option with us, is we use a PTFE Teflon-based thread, which is a lifetime warranty thread on all of our products.
So the portions that you do
You're not
sell.
allowed to pick a cheaper fabric or a
Right.
cheaper thread. And here's something that, you know, sometimes we're known to be more expensive. We build high quality products, but it's because of the things we're putting in that cost more.
Sure.
Acrylics, high quality acrylics with impact modifiers cost more than sewn polycarbonate.
Of course they do.
More than isinglass.
Right.
Same with the thread. I can buy a UV polyester thread that'll get you 5 years in the sun, and I can pay $20 for a pound of that thread. A pound of the thread we use, which is lifetime, is $170.
Right.
So again, you get what you pay for in the end.
Sure. It's the quality of the materials that go into the product.
It's all
for
about
starters.
whatever we're going to put Canvas Designer's name and label on.
Right.
We want it to be the best of the best.
Understandably. So this is canvas, and this is enclosures, and this is exterior stuff. You guys also do amazing things on interior, whether it's for new construction or, as most of the brokerage community deals with, you buy a boat and a guy wants to personalize it, or actually his wife wants to personalize it. I think I saw something out there about rules with guys not picking colors.
Yes.
Let's take a look at what the wife picks and how you guys put it together in the interior shop.
Sounds good.
So interiors is something else that we mentioned briefly, Mike, and your capabilities with soft goods they're endless, really. I mean, you could take everything from, as I mentioned in the other room, new construction and start from scratch, build out the furniture and upholster it and deliver it. Or one of the things that's going to be most popular is taking a boat and personalizing it.
Absolutely.
So if I'm not mistaken, everything we do today is done computerized, is done on CNC. We're no longer hand sewing as much as we were, right?
Our shop is very tech oriented.
Okay.
I've leveraged technology. How are you going to be competitive in the US market or the global market? I'm going to do it with technology.
Right.
We started out 20 years ago, 3D imaging boats. Okay.
Okay.
Instead of buying a truck, I bought a new cool tool.
There you go.
Okay, and that's where it kind of started. We were the first in the industry to ever do any of this stuff.
So what you have right here is actually a hide. It's a cow.
Very classic leather. We have the ability to nest the camera in the ceiling over our computer cutting table has the ability to show a picture of the leather and nest the components onto that leather.
Organize it properly.
That's how technology has expanded in this industry. We build all of our quilts with what we call as Henry. They all got names.
So
okay?
let's go meet Henry.
Henry over here is for bed scripts.
Okay.
So this is a computer-driven machine or hand quilted The stitching takes place here, but also is driven by belts and a machine. So we can have it make little starfish quilts or any of that type of stuff. So bedspreads from scratch are very capable with this machine.
Okay. And
we come into this machine, and what's very popular these days are a lot of this type of stuff.
Quilted panel.
Okay. Quilted panels, diamonds, stitching, different colors, what might be applied to it. Got some good samples right here.
And you can do different fabrics as the overlay, or vinyls.
You can go in and you can pick colors to accent and match to it. You can do solids, you can do textiles. This is Sombrella's product called Horizon. It's what we're using on almost all the exterior stuff these days. It's got a nice leather feel. It's got a texture capability that you can put the two together. And it's a high performing, fairly economical fabric for an exterior application where you want that wipe off scenario.
And you can make it as simple or as elegant as you choose.
Anything you can imagine and draw, we can stitch. This is the machine we're doing it on. It's an embroidery machine, so I have the ability to actually embed embroidery within the same thick thread stitching. This table moves around, and these stitch heads right here can be stitching in all kinds of different thread colors and that type of stuff. And again, it's all computer driven.
And your imagination is your only limit.
It really is.
Interesting.
Over here, we still do a lot of fabrics, you know, not just vinyl.
Sure, of course.
So this is our cutting table, and it's our laser table. So there's a little lot, you know, sci-fi stuff going on there.
So those are the laser. Those are the tubes that emanate the laser beam.
Exactly. The lasers through mirrors are brought back. This is an acrylic fabric, so like a Sombrella or a Perennials.
So back to our earlier conversation of the chemical makeup of the products.
Yep, again. So what we've got on this side is where it actually takes place. And what we've got is we've got two laser heads simultaneously cutting with a laser. So you get very detailed stuff. And it's all seared, so you don't get any of the fraying that you normally can get out of a product.
So the temperature is regulated by the laser that gives you a clean cut without a burnt edge.
Exactly. So you don't have any fraying.
Incredible. Incredible.
So it's pretty cool tools. I mean,
it's a very cool tool.
I'm Tool Time Tim. Only my name's Mike.
So this is a big table.
So this is a big table. Here's the screen that drives it. This is all the little parts that they're getting ready to cut out of this fabric. Well, actually, it looks like it's the parts they already cut. Let's take a look.
All right.
This head right here
has
pizza wheel cutters, drills, ink jets, and pens and pencils that mark on it and cut the product out. So when you come down here, you'll see all of the products are labeled. That's a piece for probably an enclosure is my guess. And all these parts are being cut out right now that are going to be part of an enclosure product.
And they're all marked and numbered, so you know one goes to the other.
There's a numbering system on them. The machine comes down, cuts it all out. It's a vacuum table, so all the fabrics get rolled out on it.
And it gets held right in place.
With this, we'll cut fabrics. Anything that is not going to fray. So all of our leathers, upholstery vinyls, canvas vinyls, the stamoid products, that type of stuff are all
So you're actually using a blade to cut this because it's a product that doesn't fray, whereas the other machine you're using has a laser head, and that sears the edge to keep it from fraying.
Keeps it from fraying.
Makes perfect sense.
Little quality things that make a big difference.
Now you mentioned the overhead camera taking an actual picture, and then the computer considers the best usage of the piece of raw material so that you get the maximized utility out of it.
And we're kind of interesting. We're like I said, we got into technology 20-some years ago. I've been a computer geek by hobby, as I call it. We do various patterns. Here's your typical pattern. The old days of putting brown paper up or plastic up, or even the fabric in the early days,
marking
in the
it with
early 80s.
Marking it with
that's a side pattern to a cushion.
Okay.
We're going to lay it out on this table. You see all the drilled holes. It's going to vacuum these patterns down. You get them real flat, and then from the computer and the camera in the ceiling, we take a picture of it. We developed this software. It comes out of the industry that does all the GPS and satellite mapping industry.
Okay.
Because it's taking this flat surface and using algorithms to scale it. So in a matter of seconds, we take a picture of this pattern. That pattern's now scaled to the software, and the CAD guys go in and they trace and clean up what they want on the pattern, and then it goes into the computer and it cuts it.
It tells the machine how to cut it.
Stitches it, all those various types of things that take place with that.
Amazing. Amazing. Technology has completely changed the game.
So
completely.
Pretty much this room, technology, all driven.
From one end to the other.
Everything for creating the patterns in our CAD department. We run 5 seats of CAD. They're on the screens all day long. That's all young people, because we know they know how to use that technology. Let's go over and take a look at what happens with this stuff once it's cut.
Okay. So we've got our panels. We've come off of a bolt of fabric. We've sewn our liners to it. We've quilted or designed as we choose. And now it's time to make something out of it. We've made the parts. Now we need to make the unit or the piece.
What we're going to do is take all those flat pieces of fabric and turn it into the 3D objects that typically are what you're thinking about.
Makes sense.
So here's an assembled cushion inside out right now.
Right.
This is the pull down. It goes in and the foam holds it in place here.
Okay.
You're inside out. And what you end up getting from this, and here's one of the stitched panels.
Right.
And here's all the stuff that got cut, and now it's been assembled.
Okay.
Okay. So if you look over here, this is what you start to get for a finished product now.
Okay.
All those flat panels turn into what
seat
is
cushion.
considered a cushion or a backrest.
Okay.
And that little plastic there, that polycarbonate, one of the places we do use that product is inside cushions. And it makes this pull down that gives you your knee roll effect.
Okay. So it makes it comfortable.
Yep. So you'll have all the various pieces of foam, the fabric, and it'll turn into a finished product.
Now, here's an example of a piece of foam, and you've actually got 3 different foams here. You've got a very expanded cell, you've got a more closed cell, and then you've got a different density on the top.
Yes.
Just give me 2 seconds on why do we have a sandwich effect like that? What's the benefit?
The fancy word is ergonomics.
Okay. All right.
With ergonomics, what you're dealing with is different compressions.
Okay.
Foams have different compressions, and they also have different densities.
Right.
A compression test, an ILD test, is where they push down 60%. Okay. And what kind of pressure does it take to go 60%?
Okay.
What's the pushback of the foam?
So that determines the comfort.
That's the second numbers on the end of a foam specification, which is a 4-number system.
Okay.
The first one is the density. What does a cubic foot of that foam weigh?
Okay.
That has to do with life expectancy. So you want a foam that gets up in the 1.8 pounds per cubic foot to 2.5, the higher the better.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with the firmness in the feel. The firmness in the feel is the next digit.
Okay.
So you can have a 25-30 foam. That's going to have a 30 compression. That's going to be fairly soft. It's going to be this initial soft you want on here.
Okay.
This is going to turn into a 50. So you've got this soft first layer, then you're coming into a 50. That's where you want it to be stiffer and you start to push down.
More resilience.
In this situation, we're running the dry fast foam on the bottom because we're not wanting water to be able to soak up into it, and this won't hold water.
And then outside of that, you'll put a textiline cover, correct?
Yes. You'll have
which
a
allows
mesh,
it to breathe.
You'll have a mesh cover on the underside.
Okay.
That allows it to
Textiline's
then
probably
breathe.
a brand name, right?
Brand name, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But a mesh.
A mesh that's going to allow water to drain through.
Okay. All right.
So
So
all
the
these
choices of the foams is based upon durability, but also based upon comfort. You're going to use a softer foam for a sofa inside versus a helm chair outside.
And
you'll use a denser
It goes beyond that, Paul.
Okay.
You're going to use a firmer foam on a sofa seat.
Okay.
And the backrest, think about it. All your weight is on the seat in this little 4-foot square area. Right?
Okay.
On a backrest, you're not putting your weight. It's just your back supporting.
Right.
So if you use the same foam on the seat as you used on the back would feel like a rock.
Like a bench. Yeah.
So it gets involved even further than that. Again,
Experience
I guess
tells
that's why
you that,
they
right?
pay me.
Experience. There you go. So this is where we start to assemble the products.
This is the foam room where we sort of get all the things that happen inside of it. Then
Okay.
we walk into the workroom.
Okay.
This is where all our ladies are busy sewing and assembling those flat parts into 3D.
Okay.
My better half, Pam.
Hi, Pam.
obviously.
How are you?
you.
Nice to
She
see you.
heads
I'm
up
Paul.
the whole department.
My pleasure. So here we're prepping the foam for the assembled pieces.
This was a recover, so we're going in and we're dropping a new layer of Dacron on the top just to
Okay.
fluff it out and stuff it out a little bit better.
Okay.
You know, we're unique in the fact that we do lots of recovers where we're redoing sofa areas and that type of thing. We also build sofas from scratch. This is an example. This is going on a 76 Willis custom sport fishing boat.
Okay.
And all these
All the framework.
are going to lift up. They're on gas hinges.
All for
This was
storage.
built from raw wood.
Plywood
Using
cut out.
3D, we measured it. We designed it. We're strapping it right now and getting ready to start putting foam on it. And we'll take and make a finished sofa from scratch that'll go in. And it's getting all that black leather we just looked at.
Okay.
So-
All right. So it'll fit in there perfectly. You'll have maximized storage capabilities.
Yep.
And by building it out this way, it's also lighter.
Yes.
And weight's always
yes, we're
important.
hollowing out everywhere we can. We use hardwoods
Okay.
where we can also.
So-
Then you get involved in, you know, helm chair upholstery. We'll strip this out, build a new one, put it right back on, freshen it up, give that new look to maybe a slightly used boat.
Okay.
Or to personalize the boat. You know, my favorite question to most people when they ask me about mattresses, I said, you can lay on somebody else's DNA or we can make you a new mattress. What do you want to do?
Let's get a fresh one. Let's get a fresh one. Incredible. So we've done canvas. We've done interiors and soft goods. We've got capabilities at Canvas Designers to do all of that from the ground up.
Yes.
We also do a couple of other things. When we're on our way out, Mike, I want to take a quick peek at the metal shop and fender hooks because you do some other stuff that we're going to dig into a little deeper on our next run.
Sounds good. Let
Okay.
me go show you some more cool tools.
Okay. I know he is. So Mike, we got a little noise going in here, but I'm sure the audience can hear us over that. This is a water jet metal cutting machine, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you take plate steel, stainless steel, up to what thickness can you cut with a water jet?
You can cut up to 6-inch thick.
Wow.
Stainless steel plate, aluminum plate with this.
Okay,
This is raw mill finish.
okay,
This is aluminum in this situation,
Sure.
but you can see you get a nice finish to it.
Real
So
clean
we're
edge.
cutting a lot of our stuff out of the raw materials to start
Right.
with and turning it into finished product, all
Polished out,
That
okay.
ends up being components
To
that
other
become
products.
part of our finished product.
okay. And welding stainless here.
Welding here, yep, that's a door, a swing out door assembly for
Right.
the Bahama.
Okay,
We make Valhalla's fuel management system. We're even lasering labels on it.
okay.
Okay, but we make this from scratch, raw material.
So all of
make-
this comes into you as a piece of tubing, and you
It's-
bend it, you
it's
weld
ugly tubing,
it, right?
and it turns
It's
into
awful pretty when you're done.
what we call boat jewelry.
There
And
you
then
go.
we'll even polish out stuff and we'll get it anodized in a different colors so you can have sunshade poles that match your fishing gear.
Okay.
You know, it depends on how far you
So
want
you're
to
taking an
go.
aluminum billet and you're cutting it down on a CNC router
Yep.
and assembling the components.
Absolutely.
And then this is a carbon fiber tube.
Yes.
So you're not making carbon fiber here.
No, I'm having it done to my specifications out of Minnesota.
So
laid
we
up.
replace stainless, we replace aluminum with more durable, lighter weight carbon fiber, and then we put the jewelry on it to make it functional.
And just to keep, you know, we can come back to some more of this. We make
I'm looking
anchor
forward to it.
fairly
We're going to come and see you again for certain.
milling, We CNC everything again. We're
Right.
about computers. And one of the final things I just want to bring up is we're probably one of the largest manufacturers of fender hooks in the industry.
Okay.
So we'll take an old fender hook and recover it to make
Okay.
it look fresh.
So it's a piece
just
of
like
bent aluminum.
upholstery.
Right.
Or we'll make a brand new one from scratch with all the hardware on it.
Okay.
So it gives us a lot of capabilities. Again, and here's a little bit of that billet aluminum we were talking about.
Okay.
So with that, you know, the metal department's a whole nother game.
There's a lot more that we can talk about. Mike, so much. I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy. There's a lot going on here. I can't wait to come back to Canvas Designers and see some more.
Thank you, and glad to have you here at Canvas
Thanks
Designers.
again. All right.